Picture this. You're at a family gathering and your aunt offers you a third slice of her infamous fruitcake. You've already had two slices and you're not particularly fond of it, but you don't want to offend her, so you end up accepting it against your better judgment. Sound familiar? We've all been there. This simple scenario is a perfect example of a situation where saying no could have spared you the unnecessary discomfort. And it's not only about avoiding fruitcake. Being able to say no can empower you in all aspects of your life, from your personal relationships to your professional decisions. But why is it so difficult to utter this simple two-letter word? Today we'll dive into the art of saying no, the reasons we often struggle with it, and how we can overcome these obstacles. So how do you escape the clutches of the dreaded fruitcake? Stay tuned to find out. Now you might think, what's the big deal? It's just a slice of cake. But let's imagine this. You're at a party, and your well-meaning Aunt Edna insists you try her infamous fruitcake. You've had it before and, well, let's just say it's not your cup of tea. Yet you find yourself accepting a slice, not wanting to offend her. This, folks, is where the power of no comes into play. It's not about the cake, really. It's about asserting your choice, your preference. It's about standing up for your taste buds in the face of Aunt Edna's fruitcake. When you learn to say no, you're exercising control over your life, your decisions, you're setting boundaries even in the seemingly small matters. And that's a skill that translates into bigger things. So the next time Aunt Edna offers you that fruitcake, remember, a strategic no can save you from a lifetime of bad cake experiences. So let's talk boundaries. No, we don't mean the kind that keep your neighbor's dog out. Let's imagine you're at a car dealership. A slick salesman, let's call him Flashy Frank, is trying to sell you the latest sports car. Now, you went in for a sensible sedan, but Frank's enthusiasm is infectious. He's telling you about the horsepower, the leather seats, the envious looks you'll get. It's tempting, isn't it? But here's where your boundaries come in. You know you need a practical car, not a gas-guzzling monster. Your personal boundaries are like your inner compass, guiding you towards the right decisions. They're based on your values, your needs, and your limitations. They tell you when it's time to say no, even when Flashy Frank is offering you the moon on a stick. So the next time you're being sold the deal of a lifetime, remember your boundaries. Hands up if you've ever agreed to something just to make someone else happy. Yep, I see you. Let's paint a picture, shall we? Picture yourself as an enthusiastic volunteer at the local community center. You're always saying yes to every task, every event, every garden gnome painting competition. You've become the go-to person for every odd job. Everyone loves you for it. But here's the twist. Your garage is now a gnome sanctuary. Your personal space invaded by ceramic intruders. Why? Because you couldn't say no. The moral of the story? People-pleasing might make you popular, but it also makes you a doormat. It's time to reclaim your garage and your life. Start setting boundaries, learn to say no without feeling guilty. It's not about being selfish, it's about self-preservation. And that, my friends, is how you end up with a garage full of garden gnomes. Ever said yes because the thought of someone being mad at you gives you nightmares? You're not alone. Picture this. Your best mate, let's call him Bob, asks you to help him move on Sunday. The only problem? Sunday is your only day off, your sacred me time. But there's Bob, with his puppy eyes, and you cave in, saying yes while your heart screams no. Why? Because the fear of Bob being upset, of him rejecting your friendship, makes your stomach churn. But here's the twist. Bob's not a monster. If you say no, he won't banish you from his life. He probably won't even remember it by next week. The fear of rejection is just your mind playing tricks on you. It's a ghost, a spectre, dancing in the shadows of your insecurities. So remember, saying no doesn't mean you're a monster. It just means you value your sanity. Raise your hand if you've ever felt personally victimized by your own lack of self-care. Yep, I see you. Picture this. You've got a long, stressful day ahead, but you're already running late. So you skip breakfast and that yoga class you love? Not today. You're just too busy. Sound familiar? Well, let me tell you a little secret. Once, I did the same. I was juggling a million things and my self-care went right out the window. And guess what? I ended up feeling cranky, overwhelmed, and even got a cold. I was out of commission for a whole week. Talk about a productivity killer. So let's get real. Self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. It's about treating yourself kindly, respecting your needs, and taking the time to recharge. So take it from me, skipping that yoga class for a quick favor can lead to some serious downward dog regret. I bet you've never thought that saying no could be your secret weapon to productivity. Picture this, the world's biggest procrastinator, let's call him Bill. Bill is a yes man. He says yes to every task, every favor, every single thing that comes his way. Sounds like a good guy, right? But here's where it gets tricky. With his plate overflowing, Bill's days turn into a chaotic whirlwind of mixed priorities. Now imagine if Bill had the superpower of saying no. He could prioritize his tasks better, focusing on what truly matters. Instead of being a jack of all trades and master of none, he could become the ace in his field. Saying no isn't about being negative or unhelpful, it's about setting clear priorities, enabling focus and boosting productivity. So remember, saying no might just be your ticket to becoming the productivity wizard you've always dreamed of. Feeling guilty about saying no? Welcome to the club. Ever find yourself in a pickle, agreeing to things you'd rather not? Let's imagine our dear friend Bob. Bob is a yes man. He's the kind of chap who'd agree to babysit his neighbour's pet ferret, even though he's terribly allergic. Why? Because Bob can't say no without guilt gnawing at him. But here's a game changer for Bob and for you too. It's about reframing no, not as a rejection, but as a declaration of your boundaries. When Bob finally decides to prioritise his health over his neighbour's convenience, he's not being rude. He's respecting his own needs. And the key? Practice. Like learning to play the bagpipes or perfecting a souffle, it takes time. Start small. Decline an extra slice of cake or that tedious committee meeting and watch your confidence grow. So remember, the only thing you should feel guilty about is missing out on this quality content. Ever had your no turn into a maybe and then a yes? You might need a crash course in assertive communication. Imagine you're at a car dealership. You've got your eye on a sleek cherry-red convertible, but the price tag is a bit steep. The slick-haired salesman saunters over, sensing an easy sell. He starts with the hard sell, pushing all the buttons, the speed, the leather seats, the envious glances from your neighbours. You're wavering, your no teetering on the edge of a maybe. And before you know it, you're driving off the lot in a car that's way out of your budget. Sounds familiar? That's where assertive communication comes in. It's about being firm and clear, without being aggressive or passive. It's stating your needs and wants confidently, while respecting the rights and beliefs of others. It's about holding your ground, even when that slick-haired salesman is pushing all your buttons. So, the next time you find yourself saying yes when you mean no, channel your inner assertive communicator. The art of saying no politely is one that must be mastered. Picture this, you're at a party and your friend asks you to take part in a conga line. You despise conga lines, but you don't want to be a party pooper. What do? A tactless no might be like a sledgehammer to the party vibe. But a polite no will not only save you from the dreaded conga line, but also maintain the harmony of the event. So, how do you say no without sounding like a grumpy old cat? It's all about the sandwich technique. Start with a positive slice, the thank you for thinking of me. Then comes the filling, the no, and finally another positive slice, but I'll be cheering you all on from the sidelines. Remember, a polite no can turn an awkward situation into a win-win. It's not just about refusing, it's about maintaining relationships while honouring your boundaries. Like any skill, saying no takes practice. Let's take a whimsical detour, shall we? Picture this, our friend Bob, a notorious people-pleaser, decides to start practicing his no. He starts small, like refusing to share his chips at lunch, then gradually works his way up. One day, he's feeling particularly confident and decides to say no to his boss's request for a report. You can imagine how that went down. Bob quickly learned the art of timing and discretion in his no journey. So what's the moral of the story? Practice is invaluable, but knowing when and how to say no is just as crucial. It's about striking a balance between standing your ground and maintaining healthy relationships. And remember, every no you manage to utter is a step towards self-care and setting clear priorities. So keep practicing that no, just maybe not on your boss. If you've made it this far without saying no, why not hit that subscribe and like button? It's a simple way to show your support and engagement, and it doesn't cost a penny. Plus, you'll be the first to know when we release new content, which means you'll always be ahead of the curve. So go ahead, click those buttons. Join the no revolution, and let's change the world one no at a time. What do you do when your no faces resistance? Stand your ground. Now let's imagine you're a knight. Your no is your shield, sturdy and strong. But here comes a fire-breathing dragon, the personification of pushback. It roars, huffs and puffs, trying to blast your shield with its fiery demands. But you're not backing down. You see, your shield, your no, is forged in the fires of your self-respect and the unyielding steel of your boundaries. It's not a flimsy piece of cardboard that will wilt at the first sign of heat. No, it can withstand the dragon's fiery onslaught. Hold on to your shield, brace yourself, and let the flames wash over you. They may be hot, but they're not strong enough to melt your resolve. You're a knight, remember? You're built tough. So remember, when the going gets tough, the tough get saying no. Said no for the first time, break out the confetti. Now, you might chuckle at the idea of popping a bottle of champagne because you declined an invitation to your third cousin's pet iguana's birthday party. But let's picture this scenario. You've been working all day, you're tired, but you've been trying to cultivate this newfound power of saying no. You get the invitation, and for a moment you hesitate. You think, oh, it's family, it's just a couple of hours. But then you remember your boundaries, your priorities, and you say, no, thank you. That's a victory, my friends. It might seem small, but it's a sign that you're making progress. You're setting boundaries, prioritizing your needs, and that's worth celebrating. So go ahead, do a little victory dance. Treat yourself to your favorite dessert. Celebrate your journey towards a healthier, happier you. Remember, every no is a step towards a healthier, happier you. So there you have it, your guide to becoming a no maestro. We've journeyed from the power of no across the plains of self-care, up the mountain of assertive communication, and finally descended into the valley of handling pushback. Along the way, we've learned to set clear priorities, say no without guilt, and even celebrate our progress. It's been quite an adventure, hasn't it? And remember, saying no doesn't make you a bad person, it makes you a smart one. Well, that's all from me. I hope our journey together has given you the tools to harness the power of no. Remember, it's not just a word, it's a statement of your boundaries, your self-care, and your priorities. If you found this video helpful, do consider sharing it with others. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out on our future explorations. Until next time, happy knowing.
Savored this video? Fancy another? Click the on-screen video for an even deeper dive into fresh territory. Your support is like a warm cuppa on a brisk day. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, ring that bell for the latest content. Cheers for watching.